I managed to pick up the Nike Zoom Fly 6 in the recent Black Friday sales, primarily to use as a long run shoe, but I also wanted to do threshold workouts and tempo workouts in them. And I got them to replace the Adios Pro 3 in my current training shoe rotation as I head into my next marathon training block. I was a little bit nervous about ordering these without trying them because I personally haven't got on very well with Nike's shoes so far. I bought the Alpha Fly 3s and really didn't like that shoe. I actually ended up returning it and getting my money back. I also have the the Vaporfly 3. And I don't dislike that shoe, but I don't particularly like it either. That shoe's kind of neither here nor there for me. So I was a bit nervous about buying this without trying it, but it sounded like it was going to be everything I was looking for. And because it was so heavily reduced, I pulled the trigger and ordered a pair. Now, obviously, running shoe preference is very personal, so I think a bit of context is important. So here's a little bit about me and the way I run at the moment, and hopefully that's going to help you decide whether or not this shoe could work for you as well. So when this shoe arrived, my first impression was that it's pretty lightweight for what it is. For such a highly cushioned training shoe, so we've got 40mm stack height in the rear, 32 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop. So for such a cushioned training shoe, I thought this was pretty lightweight, and the scales confirmed that. So my shoes, I've got these in a US 12 and they came in at 299 grams, which is pretty good for what it is. So that was my first impression. And as I kind of looked at the shoe, it also became obvious that Nike have really tried to make this a training shoe as opposed to a full-on racer. And what I mean by that is there's a lot more cushioning around on this shoe than I was expecting. So there's a lot of cushioning around the heel. They've been smart. They've done it. They haven't just put cushioning everywhere, adding heaps of weight. It's only in the spots you need it. So there's cushioning around the heel, there's cushioning on the tongue, which is nice. But again, it's not all over the tongue. It's just where you need it, where those laces are going to come against your foot. So that's really nice. And I also noticed the outsole and was surprised that there's actually a decent amount of rubber there, which made me happy because I hate it when we spend all this money on shoes and they wear out prematurely. So it was nice to see a decent amount of rubber. It's not all over the place again. They've gone with their classic waffle design, but it's pretty thick. And I reckon that this shoe is going to be quite durable, which is nice to see. And as I put the shoe on, all this stuff added up to just a really nice experience. So it doesn't feel like a full-on racer because it is a lot more comfortable. It felt sensational to put on. Now, my foot is quite wide, and Nike is, I guess, notorious for making their shoes run slightly narrow. So it was a really nice surprise when I put this on, and it seemed to fit like a glove and just felt really nice, like plush and just beautiful. So that was really good. But as I said, this shoe does have a lot of features from their full-on racers like the Alpha Fly and Vaporfly. And one of them is in the foam. So we've got a dual stack foam here, and the top layer is the genuine ZoomX foam that you'll find in the Alpha Fly and the Vaporfly. So it's not a composite, it's the real deal. And I found that to work really well with that bottom layer of foam, which we'll talk more about later. We've also got a full-length carbon plate. Now, Nike say it's a full-length carbon plate, but it's nowhere near as stiff as the Alpha Fly and the Vaporfly. So maybe it's some sort of composite, I don't know, but there's a plate that certainly adds some stability there, but it's not really, really stiff. In short, I absolutely love this shoe to the point where on my last run, I was actually thinking, it's as if Nike came to me and said, Jimmy, we want to make you a shoe. You tell us everything you want in this shoe, and we are going to design the perfect shoe for you. That's what it feels like to run in this. It is everything I hoped for a long run and tempo and threshold shoe. I absolutely love it. It is really fun to run in. So it's quite bouncy. You can really feel that foam compress and decompress. So if you're after a shoe that is a bit firmer, this shoe probably isn't for you. And when I say it's soft and bouncy, it's in a fun way. Like, it doesn't feel sluggish. You know how some seem to slow you down? It's just like going onto a water mattress or something. That's not this. You can really feel it compress. And actually you can hear it as well. You can hear it squelching down, but it still propels you forward. So it's really fun to run in, which is really nice. So I look forward to all my runs in this, which makes a nice change, because I mentioned I bought this to replace the Adios Pro 3. I didn't like that shoe at all. I bought it because it was secondhand. I got it for a steal, but I never liked that shoe. So it's nice to have a shoe that I'm going to do a lot of miles in, that I really look forward to running in. And I've taken it across a whole range of paces. So I've done easy runs in it. I've done a threshold workout in it. I've done some tempo work in it. I've done a long run in it. I've even done some 5K pace stuff in it. And I'm not joking, this thing eats up all of those paces. It excels at all of them, which is really unusual. And I'm not quite sure how they've done that. In one of my previous videos, I said if I could only own one pair of shoes, it would have been the Puma Nitro Deviate 2s. This shoe now replaces that title. If I could only have one pair of shoes, it would definitely be this. It definitely eats up every pace I've thrown at it, which is amazing. One thing I did notice on the easy runs is that I was running quite a lot faster than I normally do, which is a bit bizarre. So the shoe, it's a bit hard to explain, but it seems like it was just egging me on to run faster. And I found myself running faster without necessarily intending to. So I looked down at my watch and I was running a lot faster on the same course and everything, but I didn't feel like I was exerting any more effort. I was just going faster. So I'm not quite sure what to make of that. That's neither good or bad, because I mean, it's an easy run, but it's just something to consider. So I've enjoyed this shoe at all paces. It feels equally at home on easy runs as it does with 5K stuff, which is just amazing. And I think with the 5K stuff, I mean, yes, that's a lot of stack height for doing, 5K pace work. But I think because it is quite lightweight, it just seems to work. You can still get that leg turnover, and it's just really fun to run in. And in terms of stability as well, I found the stability fine. Even though it's a big stack height, even though, it's nice and squishy, I did do some pretty tight cornering, and for what it is, I would say the stability is fine. I can't really comment on the grip because it's summertime here in Australia, so it's going to be a long time before we have any wet weather, but I reckon the grip is going to be fine. I don't know if you can see, but you've got little kind of pimples on all the grip there. So I think the grip is going to be fine, and so far so good. So do I have any dislikes about the shoe? Not really. There are a few, but they are very minor. One of them is certainly the laces. So the laces are just a bit slippery, making it quite hard to get a really good lockdown. Also, on my last long run, the laces had actually come undone by the time I got home, even though I did a double knot. So I will be replacing the laces, but I mean, that's such a simple thing to do. It's really a minor thing. Another really minor thing is I personally find the shoe a little bit ugly. I mean, it's not the prettiest thing in the world to me, but I mean, I don't care. That's such a tiny thing, and it's very personal. You might think they look amazing. Another really small thing for me is they're quite noisy. I personally don't care, but if you find shoes like the Alphafly annoyingly noisy, then this is quite similar. It's probably that Zoom X foam, I don't know, but they're quite noisy to run in. So if that's an issue for you, it's something to be aware of. But overall, I just love this shoe. I would recommend it to anyone. The fit is really good. It's incredibly comfortable. It works at all the paces I've thrown at it. I've only done 50 Ks in it so far, so I'm going to do a follow-up video when I get to kind of 200-300 Ks in it. I suspect the durability is going to be really good, but so far, hopefully you can tell from this video, I love this shoe to the point where if I've got any money left over after Christmas, and as I say that, I realize how ridiculous that is. There's no way that's happening. But if we have any spare money after Christmas, I am definitely going to buy another pair or two. Because as I said, this shoe is just doing everything I wanted from it. And I think the reason I'm so excited is because, going into a marathon block, you use these things a lot. So I'm going to use this for all my tempo workouts, my threshold workouts, and my long runs. And it's so nice to have a shoe that I look forward to running in. So I wholeheartedly recommend this shoe to you. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.